I'm Mike with Flyin Miata, and today we're going to take you on a bit of an adventure. So behind me here you can see this is the Colorado National Monument. It's one of our guilty pleasures. We love driving the monument road in convertibles because it's got lots of great twisties, plenty of scenic drives to be able to be had here, and of course, gorgeous weather because, you know, we're Western Colorado. So what we're going to do is take this drive. It'll be a little bit of a show you what it looks like because this is a short 20-minute drive out of town from the Grand Junction area. And we're going to kind of take you on a little adventure through the National Monument to show you what it's like. Jump on in, let's go for a ride. Just left the visitor center area and we're starting from the Fruita side. There are two entrances, or I guess one on the west side, one on the east side that you can access or leave for the National Monument, and we are starting from the Fruita side, which is the west end of the whole trail. And basically just after the visitor center you can see over here that it starts off with some pretty grand views already. Now, I'll be talking a little bit about some of the stuff that we see as we drive by, but for the most part, I'm going to try to let you enjoy it as if you were here driving with me, just soaking in the scenery. This is such a pretty drive. I'll try not to ruin it too badly with my voice. And as a slight introduction, and try not to keep it too long, for those of you that are interested in the National Monument is something that was put together or actually made into something that could be toured like this as early as 1911. James Otto, I believe, was the name of the man that made this into what it is, or at least started making it into what it is, so that way it could be enjoyed by hundreds of thousands of tourists every year. National Monument, these features that we're pretty much driving on top of right now, is about 2,000 feet higher than the valley floor that you can see way off in the distance down there. And the valley floor is about 4,600 feet, so we're roughly 6,600 feet above sea level right now. Fortunately, for those of you joining us here today on this drive, you're getting to see a little bit of a rare event. A lot of the scenery up here on the National Monument is much greener than it has been in years past. We got a lot of rain this spring, or at least we had more than what we usually get. So a lot of the grass and trees out here are just thriving. So it's particularly spectacular with all of the red rock interspersed with all of the dark green, fresh vegetation that's been popping up this year. Off in the distance, you can see the Book Cliffs just kind of peeking out from underneath the clouds right now. They're highlighted by the sun that's going down, and I have to say that this is probably one of my favorite views, to see the sunlight just really standing out on the western side, or the western faces of the Book Cliffs. The Grand Valley area is surrounded by natural features on three sides. The national monument that we're driving on right now is on the western, kind of west-southwest side of the valley. The Book Cliffs that I just mentioned a little while ago border the valley to the north, and then on the eastern side we have the Grand Mesa. So this little valley is kind of its own little secluded paradise, because most of the rest of the area around the Grand Junction area is desert. A lot of people think that Colorado is all mountains and all cold and all Denver, basically. Everybody thinks that we're in Denver. But Grand Junction is on the far side of the state. We are right now, quite literally, about 20 miles away from the Utah border, just off of I-70. For those of you wondering, the car that we're driving today, if you haven't already guessed, is Captain Bob. Captain Bob is our 1995 Miata that has a Stage 1 turbo kit in it, along with our suspension, brakes, and a few other goodies, of course. And this car is one of my favorites. It's a particularly nice cruising car. The Koni suspension is very comfortable, but still very confidence inspiring. I'm not taking any of these corners that fast, as you can tell. And I apologize, but this is going to make me sound old. This is not a racetrack. This particular drive is very fun, and you can take it a bit quicker than you probably should and still have a good time. But if you do come out here for a visit, I recommend that you take things slow. One, because you get to enjoy all the scenery, but two, this road, it is paved. It's not as maintained as it probably should be, so there are some cracks, there are some potholes. Colorado has that. This is not Texas, where all the roads are meticulously maintained. And the other thing is that there are a ton of blind corners. So going around any of these corners where there's lots of rocky outcrops that you're just going around them to go around the next bend, you have no idea what's on the other side. A lot of times it could be cyclists, it could be gravel in the road, it could even be fallen rock. There are quite a few times that you'll see piles of rock that have fallen down, and sometimes it does land on the road. So come out here to enjoy, soak in the scenery. You can certainly enjoy the drive, but please don't speed. Be very careful. And that's my public service announcement for today. there are lots of little pull-offs to stop and take a look at some of the interesting features that are here in the National Monument. There are quite a few placards and little trails that'll develop off of those pull-offs, and most of them are relatively short, so it's not a huge hike to go see any of this, because this road is very close to the edge where most of the scenic stuff happens. But if you are the outdoorsy type and you do like to go for a hike or go spend some time out away from civilization, there are lots of trails out here. There are over 45 miles worth of trails, in fact. So if you like this kind of scenery, if you want to get out, if you're here visiting in the valley, this is a great place to come spend some time outdoors. Make sure you bring lots of sunscreen with you, though, because we do get upwards of 300 days of sunshine, and being at this high elevation, the sun can be harsh. This is one of the few straight sections, and it's not even that long. Most of the rest of the road is very curvy, and you will soon see what I mean, but never a dull moment. We're driving along at about 7 o'clock, and this is early summer for us. But right now, this is probably one of my favorite times of year. It's not too hot to come out here where it's just sweltering, but this time of day is spectacular. You get a lot of very interesting shadows at this time that plays off of a lot of the features in the rocks and showcases a lot of the little caverns, a lot of the little nooks that are in the face of the rock itself. And getting this side lighting really helps to showcase some of the shelf features as well. Shadows are getting pretty long. I don't think we'll have much more than about maybe 15 minutes left of sunlight where it's ominous. But we're getting some pretty awesome shots, I think. one of my favorite corners. It's just a little bit banked. We're approaching the eastern end of the National Monument Drive, and you can see a little bit more of the valley from here in some of the sections where it opens up. If you don't stop at any of the little pull-offs along the way, the entire drive will take you about 40-45 minutes or so. Although I do recommend that you do stop at the pull-offs because there are some breathtaking views to be had. Lots of photo ops, for sure. And up ahead, one of a Miata owner's favorite signs. I like this rock that kind of just slopes up over here in front of us. You come around this corner, it makes you feel like you're almost turned on your side. this section is on the eastern edge, or I guess the eastern side of the National Monument Road. And as you can tell by the switchbacks, it is referred to as the Serpent's Trail. There's also a hiking trail right off of it. It's a Serpent's Trail as well. Basically from here, past the Serpent's Trail is the end of the drive. From here it'll snake down a little bit further into the valley where it levels off, and then we exit the national park. So, I'm sad to say it, but this is the end for now. Of course, now that you've seen it here on video, you'll have to come out and experience it for yourself. I hope that you enjoyed our tour of the Colorado National Monument. Hopefully you got a little bit of a taste of what it's like here in western Colorado and got to experience some of the beauty that we live in and get to see pretty much every day. So, thanks again. We certainly appreciate you joining us for this experience. If you liked it, give us a thumbs up. If you have any questions about it, of course, leave us a comment down below. And if you'd like to see more of this, be sure to subscribe, hit the bell, all that kind of stuff, so that way you get updated from when we upload new content. Thanks again. I'm Mike with Flyin Miata. We hope to see you next time.